Howdy, y'all out there. It's 10 Paces. Welcome to another Monday Forward.
That's right. It's another Monday night. It's another 10 Paces. Another show brought to you by us to you.
So we hope you nestle in and listen to our dulcet tones and watch our dynamic drawings.
That's right. Well, Travis.
That's me.
You remember when life was better?
Oh, yeah.
Just way back when.
Boy, do I.
Before, well, Harambe. Before, Shoop da Whoop. Before.
Oh, wow. We're going way back.
Oh, we're going
into the Wayback machine.
That's right. I want to go back to the 90s so bad, Travis.
Oh, me too.
I gotta go back. Can you please just at least draw me something? Draw me a way to get back there.
Ah, can we go together?
Sure. Yeah, that would be. I think that'd be right.
Yeah, back in the era of Jinko jeans and extreme candy.
I can't even. It's been so long. I can't even remember.
Well, don't worry, I got this. Sour warheads await.
Can I get some Shock Tarts?
Oh, you sure can.
Oh my god, I've wanted Shock Tarts for a bit now.
Wash you down with a surge.
Oh, thanks, sweet
Oh, what's
Lord.
happened?
How long do you think this is gonna take? I'm kind of jonesing for the 90s.
Give me 20 minutes.
Okay.
It's not gonna be, you know what we get, but I just can't wait.
Yeah, I think I can deal with that. And besides, the sooner we get back, the sooner we can just make another.
Yeah.
With all that future 90s tech.
With all that retro tech.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna start that waiting time now, but I hope by 20 minutes you got it going.
All right.
Okay.
Let me get to work. Let me cobble this together.
Okay. I guess just get you in the mood. 3, 2, 1, draw.
Yeah. All right. Now, I mean, there's something a little before the 90s that dealt with time travel, but I think we can improve by at least a decade on that technology.
Terminator?
No.
Hold up, I'll get it. What's the one that they traveled in a... It's not... This is gonna sound like Doctor Who, but I think they traveled in a phone booth. And they had to do a history report. What the fuck am I thinking of?
Bill and Ted's?
Yes.
Not quite.
Oh my god.
That was also pretty 90s.
That was pretty
Wanna go
90s.
watch Bill and Ted's in theaters?
I do. Hi Davey. Can I order some a bubble tape smoothie? You know, I might be able to bring one back. A hot tub time machine.
Yep, that's the one.
I mean, I do like hot tubs.
I like time machines.
Yeah, time machines are pretty nifty, I think.
You got your hot tub in my time machine.
You got your time machine in my hot tub. Yo-yos, am I right, fellas? Ha, pog. Get it?
You could make a bunch of money back then by going to schools and selling yo-yos.
Oh, you could.
And calling it a class assembly.
This time, I'm gonna run the Scholastic Book Fair. That's right.
That's how I first learned about manga.
Really? That's how I've heard.
Yeah, I got Shonen Jump.
Dude, that's so cool. That's just how I learned about Captain Underpants.
And Animorphs.
Yeah, and probably not how I learned about Goosebumps, but how I got my Goosebumps. When it wasn't from the
Ooh.
library. You exhaust all of the libraries, and they're too cheap to buy
It
more.
was from the staffers that really sent the willies up your spine.
Yep. Oh yeah, Sonic. I love Sonic.
Sonic Hedgehog.
I got my my copy of Bill and Ted, like Go Through Time or whatever the fuck it's called.
Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent Adventure. I think I got it in like a pizza box, like a Pizza Hut deal or some sort of mail-in deal. I didn't buy it. I had it in like a shitty slipcover. But I'm not sure how
That tracks.
I'm not sure how I got it. I guess that's pretty 90s too, like just shit appears. I guess that's just because I was a kid. But like I don't remember this.
You didn't have a whole lot of understanding of supply chains and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna need enough room to bring everything back. So we're gonna use kind of a
Yeah, we're gonna need
hatchback station wagon model here.
some trunk space for sure.
I don't know how to draw cars, but that ain't gonna stop me. It seems so easy. It's just a lot of lines and shapes.
It's a lot of perspective though, which is tricky unless you're just, I don't know, copying,
Copy, paste them, trace them.
tracing.
Relaxing so cool.
That's right. Is it powered by Capri Sun? We'll see what it's powered by. I'm thinking it might be Surge. If I had to
Oh.
guess.
Who's to say?
I mean, ultimately Travis is to say.
Just don't need any of those gushers on the way back. I don't know if there's enough room, enough cabin space for a giant fruit head.
We can save room if we put the gushers, like, still in the package, I guess, up our butts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got a little bit of trunk space of your own.
I mean,
But you can go first, and then
I got a whole dump truck.
Good. So you can go first with those, and then I'll pick up the loose ends.
Perfect.
You know what I miss? And I think this isn't 90s, I think this is early 2000s, but Reese's Swoops. I've mentioned them on this fucking show before, and I want them so bad in my mouth.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun way to eat chocolate.
It was.
Because, I mean, texture's such an important part of, you know, delicacies like that.
Yes. And no one fucking makes them. I don't know if they're just really weird, but, like, I mean, they are really weird. But I don't know.
This is a gimmick that didn't really take.
Yeah, it was not the Dippin' Dots of the chocolate industry. Even though Dippin' Dots has definitely had its ups and downs. I'm sure that's because of, like, amusement parks have probably had their downs recently.
Oh, absolutely. Like, amusement park's the only reason, like, Dippin' Dots carried on. And then they tried, like, vending machines and stuff, but honestly,
People
I'm
don't.
gonna be honest with you, I don't think Dippin' Dots hold up.
Yikes. I think it's okay. But yeah, I wouldn't want to pay the like $6 in a vending machine. It just, I don't know, it feels worse. It feels like a worse deal to me.
Yeah, and you're just getting a cup of, like, freezer burnt ice cream.
Right. You're probably more likely to get a good scoop of Dippin' Dots, and probably more than you would get. Yeah, they do stick to your tongue and you can barely taste them. It's a very weird treat. And I guess the other thing that's really helped them is like zoos and stuff. But even those have probably been hit with attendance-wise.
Yeah. I don't think they ever made it into stores because I doubt
They
it's
did.
like shipper shelf stable.
They did.
Huh.
I mean, it's like any ice cream, you just have to keep it cold. That's actually one of the things that
tackle
saved them. I watched a video like I don't know, years ago about it. But yeah, going to stores is actually one of the things that helped them stay afloat. That and I forget who they marketed with. It may have been like something crazy like NASA or something.
That makes sense.
They have a pretty cool backstory if you dig into it. There's a YouTuber called Company Man that does.
I don't vibe with them. Name alone.
Well, that's fair.
I'm gonna seize those means of production.
But that would just make you the Company Man.
Oh no!
It's
I became the thing I hated the most.
Yep. Your evil dark turn.
Company Man would be a good, like, wrestling heel name.
For sure.
Which I guess is just Vince McMahon, but
yeah. I'll be right back.
right on. Could seal up these lines, and even though it's only 20 minutes, we'll see if we can get some color on this thing. How you doing out there, Davey? I'm always happy to hear from you. And, as the pin message says, anyone out there, feel free to get in the Discord, call in, we'll have you in. Let me pop over, take a peek at that call-in queue, and if you ain't in the Discord yet, now's your chance. Hop on that, come on in, meet some folks. Maybe you will. Well, we'd be happy to have you. How am I going to shield this? We're going to have to modify this hood here. And this right here is going to be the lifeblood of the whole operation.
Ooh, what you got cooking? Is it a griddle?
No, I don't think George Foreman's were until... Well, they may not have made a resurgence until like the 2000s. I think they existed before then.
Yeah, I think so. Is it a Jack LaLanne power juicer?
I don't know the timeline on a lot of
That's
made
been
for
around
TV
fucking
stuff.
forever.
Yeah.
That had to. Okay, let's see when the George Foreman. Oh wow, nope, that was outside of boxing. That was after boxing. Wait, no, 1994.
Oh wow.
Exactly 90s. Smack dab.
I'd have to snag a whole bunch of those. Go to a college and make a bunch of dorm lives easier.
Oh yeah, we're gonna corner the market on them. The Tin Paces Grill.
So I think we need kind of an AI pilot here to that really knows where to drop us off in the 90s.
Did you have something in mind?
That's what we got here.
Oh, an
Kind
AI.
of manning the helm.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they know exactly where to find it.
And
We just got to keep them fed and clean up their shit.
well, I don't think that'll be hard. I think it'll just remind us when we need to eat and poop. Because we're gonna be so lost in time that we're not gonna, remember that timeline. Like, oh, what time did we poop ago?
I never remember.
Yeah, it's so
Too much to keep
difficult.
track of. And then we also got a nav system here. Cobbled together from an old Poochie. And a bunch of discarded Game Boys.
Hold up, how do I join? Are you in the Dead Man's Saloon, the other server? I can just look. I don't think you are. Invite time. Do it the wrong way, 'cause I don't remember where the invite link is.
It's in chat.
Oh, you did it. Yeah, you click on that Discord link, and then you'll just join call in queue or general, either one. Just join chat. Yeah, there you go.
See if I can pull this up.
And then you'll want to mute Twitch because it's annoying.
Double up.
You can if you want. I mean, some people recommend it, but I'm not going to listen to my voice.
I'm in the system always.
Oh my god.
90s, the
A
Matrix.
true hacker.
Hackers is a good 90s movie, absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
You should.
Make time for it. It's so ridiculously cheesy. So it is just 90s the movie. You'll just get the satisfaction of seeing it when you watch it.
Where a lot of those keyboard trips come from, right?
Yeah, all the fast typing and like the zeros and ones. I mean, I know the Matrix did a lot of that too, but
Having
hackers helped a
multiple
lot with that.
keyboards so you can type faster.
Yeah,
How are you tonight?
I've been vibing.
Hell
Just
yeah.
been chilling. Just been doing game dev stuff earlier, but it's boring stuff on that end. Now I'm drawing stuff and talking about the 90s and chillaxing.
Yeah. It's a comfort space.
It's our little comfy space. Can you talk at all about your game? You don't have to.
It is a turn-based RPG based on the Mario RPG series in general, the Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi series, kind of a mixture of their gameplay. And it is designed to look like a retro N64 video game.
Dope.
Yeah. And it stars a pair of gay lesbians, and it's silly, and it's funny, and it's goofy, and epic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, why can't I get this?
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really look forward to it.
Yeah. We're aiming to have a demo done by the end of the month. It's probably going to get delayed because game development always takes forever, but we will reach that goal sooner than later.
Hell yeah. I think if I haven't been up to anything notable lately, I Oh, I went to a basement punk show.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was really cool. My little brother's band played, and there were some really good openers. It hung with a bunch of
Jack
rough
LaLanne
songs.
Power
It was
Juicer.
wild.
Jack LaLanne Power Juicer.
What? That's impossible!
Well, I've got a lot to say about the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer.
Oh yeah? Are you a juice freak?
I've had insomnia my whole life, and I used to go to sleep only
Juice
about the
whore?
time that the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer infomercials would come on. And they're all low mix, like anything for old people, and they're like a movie long, and it's not interesting, and it's a perfect thing to fall asleep to if you have insomnia. I know, like, all the features of both the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer and the Power Air Fryer by Ninja.
Regale us, won't you?
What's that?
Regala.
Regale us.
The Power Air Fryer, it is an air fryer, right? And then there's just like a whole bunch of attachments, and so like we can even rotisserie it. Look how good this rotisserie chicken is, and then just watch it just does a lot of food shots of them eating rotisserie chicken, and then like they'll pretend it's a cooking show for a bit and talk about like what kind of things he likes to put on chicken wing sauce, and then they throw in like, oh, you air fry the chicken wing, and it
God,
blah blah
you can
blah,
air fry it?
and then they do a bunch of succulent
fry
looking
with the
chicken
air?
wings tumbling.
Don't you need
Oh,
oil
well,
for that?
that is literally the same thing that an oven does if you put something on a rack, but an air fryer is like a nice little box for doing it.
You also need convection, because the air has to be flowing through it to get any pent-up moisture out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, a lot of ovens are convection ovens, though.
Not in my apartment.
That's fair. That's fair. I was just saying. I mean, I had one. I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, honestly, that's the biggest thing I learned, because my mom always used to cook on a pan, and so she would make good food that like floated in its own nasty greases. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it was one of the biggest discoveries for me culinarily, just to put something on a rack if I want it dry and roasted.
Right.
And also potatoes I do on the bare grill of the oven, because I like them. I like the skins crispy because I eat them. I eat them like potato skins. Yeah,
You have Bear Grylls in your oven?
that's right. And he does them for me. He does them better than anyone else.
You with Survivor Manning your oven?
Yeah. I had to keep the temperatures pretty low, but he was able to start a fire with his piss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a little bit cheating, but he drinks jet fuel. Passes out, and when they put him on the island, his piss actually is highly flammable, and he just needs to get a tiny spark.
I
Also-
mean, that's just be prepared for anything. Always drink jet fuel.
It also
It
keeps
is
him
very
awake
like a
for like 4 days.
no, jet fuel would make you. Well, I was thinking boat fuel, wasn't I? Jet fuel would make you die, of course, but I don't think. I mean, maybe it
Well-
makes you fast. Let's say jet, like in Fallout.
You black out, but you're still awake.
Oh, you're still going. I
Yeah.
gotcha. Like
Like Trevor.
bath salts
Like
face
PCP.
punch.
Yeah. You just go into a manic whatever.
So, what have you guys been talking about other than the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer? Which, okay, honestly, I don't remember that many details about it, but it is so funny to see an old former bodybuilder. It's genuinely entertaining to watch him squish fruit into a machine for a while. Like, it would be a big hit on TikTok probably these days, to just every Jack LaLanne Power Juicer, eat every juice, full infomercial. And it's just, look at that.
Carrot
Wow.
juice, jalapeno juice.
That's my. If I'm gonna drop a like a hyperpop album at one point, I'm gonna have to use juicer sounds and Jack LaLanne voice samples to make a track. Look at that! Look at that!
Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that!
Yeah, exactly.
Travis, did you have a Poochie?
I had the knockoff.
iDog?
I don't remember the brand.
I think I had a Poochie.
Did you have Poochie?
I don't know. I feel like I got like a used one at a garage sale or something, which I don't know if that's like the authentic experience or how it's supposed to go down.
definitely had a little robot dog. I have no clue if it was like a brand name or whatever. Oh,
Hmm.
I had the McDonald's toy.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm pretty sure I have the McDonald's toy at the very least, which is also, I'm sure, not the full experience.
yeah.
No, it didn't do flips.
Well, Travis, I can't wait anymore. Just show me what you got.
All right. So this is the 96 time traveling Volvo sedan. It's got a Tamagotchi engine powered by Go-Gurt propulsion technology.
Ooh.
It's got actual Tony Hawk decks for traction. The vaporwave on the side, obviously, so it fits in.
Oh, of course.
It's like camouflage. The navigation system is headed by Poochie, but powered by an array of Game Boys. OGs.
Daisy chained, huh?
Oh yeah, it's the only way you can get enough power without any of them short-circuiting.
Oh, those green screens definitely make it read.
The original Game Boy used like 8 batteries or something
I
ridiculous
think
like
it
that.
used 4 AA's, but it might have been 6.
Still a lot.
I think it's
I thought it used
6
C
double A's.
cells.
It didn't use C cells. No, the original Game Boy used like a good wall of batteries. It was 8 or 6, like 2 thick rows of your batteries.
So you get an hour of playtime if you're lucky.
Then an N64 controller for the steering wheel.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you noticed that.
It was 4 AA's.
Only 4? Good.
The
doesn't
game
seem
the
bad.
Game Gear was
I remember that for the
6.
color.
The Game Gear was 6. The color had 2.
Oh, it was
The color was
the
2? Wow.
Sega Nomad used C cells.
Oh.
Ha, that's so weird.
That's fun. That's what I played my first sort of Castlevania game on. Dracula.
Dracula
sorry.
X.
No, it was just called Dracula.
Oh,
And it was a ripoff of Castlevania, but it was an acceptable one.
it was Sega
Bram
being like, we
Stoker's
couldn't.
Genesis game.
But I had 4 brothers and sisters, so we had to split the time that batteries would last between a lot of people.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, it's when you go battery pirating around the whole house.
Mm-hmm. Columns was was a game that was on it too, but it looked cool, but then it just wasn't cool to me as a kid. Like I was not at all interested in a Tetris, a rip-off Tetris. Like Tetris has some magical quality that it hit and has sustained, you know.
It has different shapes.
Yeah, the shapes. I mean, they own the shapes. That is part of it. Because if they didn't own the shapes, they would
Columns
have
just
a
has-
hold of the market.
It's all, it's all long pieces because it's columns.
Yeah, but it was like really lavishly drawn sprite art of like an Arabian city or something every time, like a casino. And it was like cool art.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but I was a kid, so I just did the scary jump around game. It was because it was Sega and they do what Nintendo don't. It was a bloody Castlevania, but not like super bloody. It's just they blew up red, you know.
Right.
Fell apart into bits.
And you know what's funny? They would never have gotten away with like marketing themselves like that if Nintendo just had the guts to not have green blood in Mortal Kombat when they first released it. That's the big mark against them, really.
Yep. And you could use a cheat code to even unlock the blood.
Oh, really? I guess
Mhm.
that's not like technically their fault. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, let's all pile in and head back to the 90s. Why don't you award me
Oh,
some
man.
score?
I thought we were already in the 90s. Shit.
Nope. It's only beginning. I found a spare 10,000 points, Travis, if you want to hold on to that.
Oh yeah, put it in there.
Okay. I'll just
I'm
tuck
gonna
that
go
right
ahead
in.
and rock in my chair when we go, like in Star Trek.
Okay.
So let me know when we've punched it.
We're gonna rock to Aerosmith and
Mhm.
I guess Nirvana.
In the 90s, anytime a character showed up, they played Back in Black.
Oh, that's true.
By the all
I hope you like my all Sum 41 playlist.
You know I do.
As long as it's not Blink 182.
Ooh.
Not for me, thanks.
Yeah, I agree there. I don't know about Davey, but the rest of us are in agreement. The rest of us
You
being
probably heard my share too much.
me
Sorry
as
about
well.
that.
It's okay.
But it is good to be in the 90s.
I spent so much time detailing. I think we're gonna have to make a pit stop and feed the Tamagotchi.
Oh, where are we then?
We didn't get too far. I didn't fill up beforehand. Aaron?
Yeah, what's up?
You might have better perception of this. Where are we?
This, if I had to guess, this looks like a combination of. Do you know the game Pow World?
Is that the Pokemon with guns?
Yes. It's been very popular recently, and it's on Game Pass, and I've been playing it, and it is, it's kind of like Rust, like it's a survival game, but also there's Pokemon with guns and humans with guns that you can also capture.
You can capture humans?
Yeah, and then you can put them all to work in your camp harvesting and making stuff.
Well, they do what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, and you can also butcher the pals for their meat.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so it looks like a combination of that and Moral Oral.
Oh, boy.
I know that's kind of hard to imagine, so can you just draw the audience a picture of it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll bring it back for posterity.
Awesome. I think they'll approve of that. How fast do you think this Tamagotchi's gonna need to eat?
Give me about 40 minutes, because it's also probably gonna shit.
Oh, that's right. And we're gonna have to clean that up. All right. Well, I guess 3, 2, 1 draw. Let's get it going.
This one's our fault.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I did not tell you anything. We've
Yeah,
been
you better not.
more
Tell me
orals.
something.
Okay, more oral is really good. You should watch it.
Yeah, I need to. It's certainly on my list.
Hmm.
Ridiculously ahead of its time with the topics it talks about.
Absolutely, and it handles them really well, in my opinion. Like, I know it's satire
Yeah.
or whatever, but
They had a good team. I mean, Dino can put out some good work despite being just a consummate piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous Paris sideburns, isn't it?
What's that?
It's a ridiculous pair of sideburns, isn't it?
Yeah. He's also just kind of a bad edgy as far as his comedy goes.
I don't know exactly what you mean, because Moral Oral is a good edgy.
That's because it's not Dino on mic.
Oh, I see. He's a kind of
No, I mean, in that sense, Moral Oral probably wouldn't have been good if it was made today either. Like, a lot of people have been radically shifted in personality over the last several years.
decades of the internet existing.
Hey, I mean, I wish it was all the internet's fault.
Not
At least
so-
that's one thing.
I mean,
Just
that's
one
how
internet.
folks got radicalized because you find your niche and then, for better or for worse, you kind of dig into it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's the delight and the terror of algorithm-generated content to be given exactly, not necessarily what you want, but exactly what you're going to stare at for longer than average.
Yeah,
That's, I think, the real switch that got flipped. I mean, you can talk about just capitalism in general, but I think just in sort of like, I don't know, like game choices, like a story game. I think
Yeah.
at some point we made the choice to prioritize the time eyeballs are on a screen, and that's a big part of when like media started getting stranger and outrage baiting became a genuine way to make money. I mean, even forgetting, like media, like established media, you could just certain YouTubers have like they are a drama channel in that they cause it and then they respond to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just message people that might tell everyone how mean they're being to get them to tell everyone how mean they're being so that they can tell everyone what they don't like about that person.
All press is good press.
Exactly. I mean, when you're small enough, any press that won't lock you in the pen, as long as you don't go to prison.
We need to do that. We need to start beef with somebody way more popular than us.
I mean, that would help. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter who.
Keemstar, we're coming for you.
It almost makes me believe in the American dream. I don't know if you know who Trisha Paytas is,
I do not.
but she's this woman that has been desperately trying to be famous her entire life. And I mean, I know who she is, and that is only because of how hard she's tried her entire life. It's almost a meritocratic society in that sense, because she doesn't like have any talents. She doesn't do anything. She's had a lot of plastic surgery, and she talks pretty fast. And she starts drama or is in drama and says things to start drama. And, she's one of those YouTubers, like a lot of, she did mukbang, anybody who's ever done mukbang usually will also do drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's just a popular video format that they don't have to come up with on their own.
Yeah, a lot of the drama that's come out around YouTube culture has been based on the fact that people are like doing whatever, like they're taking the shortcut. You've driven a lot of the artists away a lot of the time in a lot of these platforms, and so when it's almost like a Skinner box if you're familiar with the psychological experiment of like, I think the rats. I don't remember to what degree they neglected themselves, but they would neglect themselves because they could directly stimulate the nerve centers of their brain to give themselves pleasure. And so they would just push the button and like not take care of themselves to some degree. I don't remember exactly what happened. And it's kind of like that, where like they have created the incentive structure where people are just going to do the one thing that makes their view count go up one number.
Mm-hmm. And you see even like creators you like and respect kind of have to put up with that or sometimes fall into it.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. I don't really hold it against
such
most
benign
people.
ways as like just creating thumbnails that'll pop by doing the kind of algorithmically recommended things.
Mm-hmm.
Rather
Honestly,
than-
if I'm gonna be snooty about something, it's the thumbnails, because like it's just like, if I've read too many books, I'm old enough to have been around before the internet and needed to escape from my life. And like, there are books that the cover kind of does matter. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but if the cover of, I don't know, Harry Potter was Harry going, and Voldemort going, "Arr!" and it's like, you won't believe what happens on page 47, I wouldn't have read it. I genuinely wouldn't have.
I found a philosopher's stone. Not clickbait?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people, it's so weird because it's the kind of thing where you see what a lack of regulation can do, because people will full on commit crimes that not enough people who would ever report them are aware of to get bigger numbers,
Yeah.
And then, like, they just get big enough that somebody who cares notices and says, hey, this guy's posted all of his information online and he regularly breaks this specific law on camera. Stop him, it's dangerous, or stop him, it's annoying, or whatever. Eventually, you get, far before 1 million people are watching you, somebody who's like, can I get this guy in trouble? And then
they build their own base, regardless.
Yeah, on the internet, like, it's tough.
People
There was a
love
lot
controversy.
There was a lot of not drama, but there was a lot of hubbub made around people getting canceled. But so many people like just continue to make a living at this point, off of like, but it's not concealed anymore like the way it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you heard that Kevin Spacey was on, I think, that Tucker Carlson show, right? Like, if he can't be canceled, then who is canceled, right?
Right.
But I mean, he is, big money rich. Like, it's rated R here, right? It's satellite radio.
Yeah.
It's like jerking off with George W. Bush at Harvard, money. Like, he's more able to get back on TV than most people.
Can I do that with enough money?
Oh yeah, I mean, not Bush anymore, but whoever is going to be Bush later.
All right, new Bush, come here. We're gonna have a powwow.
New Bush, we got a game. No, I don't know. I mean, hearsay, allegedly.
Now I'm gonna take that stance. Me, Travis Orr. George Bush touched his own wiener.
Oh, I mean, that far I will go.
For fun.
Probably.
I'll go there for fun. I'll go there for seriouses.
Oh, I mean, he touched it for fun.
Me too. I used to read a lot of Lewis Carroll as a kid. I'm sorry for using it against you right now.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, I was just trying to give double meanings to everything I said to you. Because you said he touched it for fun. You said I meant he touched it for fun, and I said me too, which could have applied to I also touched it for fun. Or I also meant that. Is what I was saying.
We'll
Just
never know. That's the mystery.
Taking your words intentionally wrong, that is how Lewis Carroll goes.
Oh, it clicked in my head. You said Lewis Carroll. I thought C.S. Lewis.
Oh,
and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I grokked every metaphor C.S. Lewis was putting down.
Yeah, I'm sorry for getting too esoteric on you, like the guy who made the Lion Jesus.
That was Jesus?
Oh. Well,
Is that why he died on the stone for our sins?
I don't think he had to like drag it or anything, but yeah.
Dragging on the stone for your sins.
You're inviting a lot of fictional characters into this room. There can be consequences to that.
Means we get to put it in the tags.
Okay, I've got this. Furby, Smurfs, Sailor Moon. Oh, my desktop, Cyberpunk.
Fortnite.
Oh, Fortnite, Fortnite memes. Fortnite.
We already said
9gag.
mukbang.
Oh, tutorial.
Oh, hell yeah.
Life hack.
Did you ever watch Alan Tutorials?
Is that the person that smashed things, or was that? Oh no, that was the like ARG
It was
where a
always-
dude was captured in a dirty room or something.
Yes. To the point
Yeah.
where I wasn't sure, and I was worried for him, but then I learned that, it was... Spoiler,
the
it was a
good-
farce.
The good thing about that stuff is that you can find that out easily, usually. Like, as much as it's hidden,
Yeah.
like, if you were concerned, you knew the truth, because you looked it up enough to find out, no, they're fine.
Yeah. He was on an episode of Tim and Eric, actually.
That's cool. He's done a bunch of stuff, though, the guy who did that. He's behind a lot of the dark, absurdist internet horror. He did This House Has People in It as well.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, I learned most of my information. I watched a YouTube channel called Night Mind that just went over horror content because I'm too scared to watch horror still. But a lot of the ideas there appeal to me or resonate with me. I'm sure that's why I'm not really that comfortable with the genre, And so I will sometimes watch those, but honestly, I stopped because they're too scary for me. And This House Has People in it was one of the scariest things. It is I don't remember even how it's set up, but this big ARG of a hidden camera live feed of a house, and it's got a bunch of funny, absurd, scary, funny, absurd things that happen that are highlighted from like hidden camera footage, like the dad sitting alone in a room suddenly belts out into like his college fight song all by himself and then sits back down expressionless or whatever. Somebody dressed as Sonic runs past the window eating garbage. But like it is actually really scary when you dig into it too.
That sounds fun. Like I started this whole horror kick, I'd say in probably 2020, and it's only gone deeper.
Oh man. I wanted to say, on the topic of horror, I just now am playing the Wolfenstein reboot from a little bit back.
Mm-hmm.
The New Order, I think. And it's scary. I didn't expect it to actually be scary.
Yeah, did I mean, I knew it was about fighting Nazis, but is it Nazi
it's about-
zombies?
It's future
Nazi
Nazis.
Frankensteins?
And the reason they won the war in World War II is because they did, in fact, find magic. Because if you remember the original game Wolfenstein 3D, you fought Hitler kept alive on a giant mech. So that's like the tone of the series.
Mecha Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was a neat idea. Like, it's a hard ground to walk even harder now. I mean, obviously Nazis are bad.
I mean, fuck
people.
Nazis. It's not
easy.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not complicated, and that's why
but-
Wolfenstein can do what it needs to do.
I had an idea for a comic that I never realized and probably never will, so I don't mind speaking about it here. But
Well, I mean, I think even assuming you get very famous and make a comic, the people who would dig this deep would. I mean, hi, you guys, but they're not gonna mind. They probably have already read it.
it's not something I feel passionate about anymore. But Hitler's, secret occult society, the Thule Society,
Mm-hmm.
because they were really into like Norse mythos.
Yeah, I mean, they were
They-
desperate to find any proof magic exists because, I mean, I'm sure this isn't something that you haven't heard before, but the Nazis were children. They were hateful, but they were fucking man babies.
Yeah. And so the idea was that, like, they do some ritual and initiate Ragnarok, and the whole idea behind it was just I wanted to see World War II technology up against, like, Norse mythological giants and whatnot.
It's a great spot for a war game, I think.
Yeah.
Because, like, ignoring Nazis, forget that. It is the one time in the world that basically all of the militaries were as armed as possible because they fully expected to be in a full-scale conflict. And to have the Norse end of the world happen there would present a lot of cool battles, for sure.
Yeah. I thought it'd be neat
Plus,
to have, old B-52 bombers up against, like, Nidhogg's and...
You're not even thinking good enough, though, dude. World War II, you could have greaser gangs as a unit if you made it like Warhammer. That's all. Just the human army would have like greasers. It would have the military. It would have a bunch of different factions.
Well, they wouldn't have greasers just yet. That was the 50s after all those boys got home
Oh, you're right.
and started working on cars instead of tanks.
That's true. Yeah, there were no bad boys for a while there, because most boys. Just
We don't like to talk about that. Because
I mean,
America was the good guy, unequivocally.
Well, I meant romanticized anti-heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say something about Wolfenstein. I thought, because I can't remember if it was the first game or the second game, but people got upset about it being so anti-Nazi.
Because they're Nazis.
Yeah, I mean, Nazi-adjacent, Nazi supporters doing things to help support Nazis, yes. Some of them are just like, somebody's been whispering in their ear, get mad when people criticize Nazis. Don't ask why. And some people do fall for that. It's weird, but they do. But anyway, my point is just, so I thought it was going to be like just Inglourious Bastards, but honestly, it is weirdly magnificent in its body horror, used to help you understand with genre fiction something as horrible as the mini acts that were committed in World War II. And you do see the mundane horrors that really did occur under the Nazi regime in that game, and I fully didn't expect any Schindler's List scenes, and there are a couple.
Nevin!
So it's cool.
Sorry to
That's
interrupt
body
you
horror.
guys. Nevin's just subscribed. They're at 11 months.
Wowie! Thank you, Nevins.
Thank you. They said, oh, magic is real. You just have to punch 10,000 Nazis to get your first spell. I don't make the rules.
I
don't know
what
who
I'm
did
doing
make
right
the
after
rules,
this show.
We owe him a big favor on that one. It's not even funny, you know, it's just bizarre. It's genuinely difficult to wrap your brain around the way that, like, I don't know, if you're on a major dose of some psychedelic and you just can't think a certain word. The Nazis did so many, like, definite bad things. And, like, even I just don't know how you can, you know, I just don't know how you
Yeah.
can say, like, oh, but they were right about some stuff, or I mean, like, I guess you just have to be crazy enough to listen to someone telling you that was all lies and justified at the same time, and then there are people mixed up enough to believe a couple of bad things at once.
Yeah. I mean, this is a little grim, but I went to an Oktoberfest celebration in Soulard,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some neo-Nazis passing out stickers and, you know,
Wow.
kind of asking those loaded questions.
Yep.
And so I just shouted them off and told them to get out of there. And I don't know that does any good, because that tends to cause people, like, dig their heels in, and
Well,
I'm being
I-
persecuted for my beliefs.
I think that's an act, a noble act, genuinely, and I mean in sort of a philosophical sense when I say that, but because, like, you are not nobody. Like, you're not playing an optics game, you know, at Soulard Market, helping people not get harassed. Like, if it made them feel any less welcome, and it made more people know that there are people in the vicinity that don't really want Nazis there handing out, you know, hate shit, like, that's a good thing. And if internet, you know, conservatives or you know, people who are Nazi curious don't like that, and they dig in their heels, well, they were looking for a reason.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion, but, you know,
That's fair.
you have to do a little bit of a. I mean, if you want to talk grim, unless you plan on, you know, going to church every Sunday and making sure to lick the boot enough, you want to think about you need to do some active advocacy against your own extinction. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm all for it. I hate conflict, though, so, like, I'm not going to practice what I preach. I want to put that out there right now.
Oh no, I'm bad at it, but I'll get involved, maybe to my own detriment at times.
Hey, man, good.
But I've gotten
You know
better
what?
at it.
I would have rather had you there with the Nazis there than me there with the Nazis there. I would have just cried, probably. So, you know, though, Wolfenstein, it's got, like, pretty good. There's a moment where you're getting trash compactored, and you get forced towards a door before it's going to crush you, and the door's slat opens, and the main villain's face is pressed against the glass, like, next to yours.
Oh jeez.
It was pretty cool.
Like, just trying to get a good view?
He's gloating. He specifically hates you. Wolfenstein brought back a guy. Wolfenstein New Order brought back a guy from older in the series whose face was deformed to look like a skull.
Ah. Like a red skull.
Not a red skull. No. A very fleshy skull. And he makes like flesh obedient super soldiers now. That's the horrible act they're doing. Like, they don't generally waste the biomass anymore like they did back in the day.
Gotcha. Well, you know, honestly, I'm glad out of the game and show choices I got, kind of glad it wasn't Wolfenstein. They could have been for a cool drawing, but
Moral Laurel is is edgy. I mean, I love the show, and I don't think there's much that I would. I mean, I don't know. I could be probably pressed to disavow some of the jokes in it or something, but, you know, but it is like I remember as a young, sort of shy, religiously traumatized 20-something, just barking out shocked laughter at the blunt statements, the blunt versions of the statements I'd been hearing all my life, you know. And it was more of a catharsis thing for me than like this genuine recommendation that like, well, the cheery 50s tone he uses when he says that horrible thing is the joke, and if that doesn't make you laugh, then I don't. It's not that you're wrong; it's that you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I was turned off of it, as I mentioned to Aaron yesterday, because like when it was airing, we were in high school, and I was an evangelical Christian then. But now I
Sure.
think being able to recognize my religious trauma, I can enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know that I was fully aware of the damage that had been done to me by certain ideas that I'd had until much later, you know. But I think there's much in the subconscious that can be helped by stuff like that, and so I'm always going to love the show. Is all I'm saying. But there's so many people it's not for. I mean, I'd be far more hesitant though to recommend Xavier Renegade Angel. There's plenty of jokes in that show that are just not okay. And I don't mean like I'm angry about them. I just mean like whether you like it or not, you said that thing because it's not okay. That's what the joke is, you know?
Yeah, I didn't watch enough of that show to really know any of those particular jokes from it.
Well,
Like,
it's not.
the only thing that I really remember from it is that scene where he's talking to himself.
I mean, it's a really funny show, and if you can handle offensive content that you think is wrong and they shouldn't have put out in something, then I could recommend it. But that's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But you know, I mean, that's how it is. Like, obviously, notoriously, Ace Ventura is like extremely transphobic. Like, it's a harsh word to use generally amongst like a
It's
common
accurate.
crowd, but it's not.
It's very blatantly that in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's barely a joke. It's. I mean, luckily for them, I guess, or unluckily, I don't know. You know, but Jim Carrey is able to make a concept of someone feeling an extreme emotion or something. That is his shtick, and I think that part of that's why it's part of why it's aged so legendarily badly, because they just needed to say gross thing happened. And gross thing is trans person was just a fine joke from then, and generally you just go, they shouldn't have said that. But you know, this is a 15-minute bit of Jim Carrey doing all kinds of, you know, cleansing activities, and
Right.
and it's like also why they're the murderer, and you can get far deeper into the reasons. It's like it's nasty, but even just that it's a 15-minute scene, and like he hadn't eaten poop, which would have been okay in a kid's movie to do this scene. You know what I mean? He had like a kiss or whatever with somebody with a dick. You know, at the end of the day.
Heavens.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, it's weird for me to come at any kind of understanding of any kind of homophobia or whatever from the angle of like a rigid straightness that cannot be questioned. I was like very open to anything when I was young, you know, and that was very good and bad for me.
Oh, yeah. See, I think that was the source of a lot of my anxiety. Because any of those thoughts that came to my head, I'm like, oh, well, this is going to send me to hell. I better go to bed anxious and pray because I can't sleep.
Plus, you're given like a powerful meditative tool to use against yourself by making the thoughts that you're supposed to punish yourself for someone else's responsibility with Satan or the devil. Like that is actually it takes you a step away from the thing you're dealing with. That's also how, you know, microtransactions usually work. It's why you buy, you know, Fortnite, you buy V-Bucks, and there are more V-Bucks than there is money or whatever, you know. And it's the same.
That
It's the same thing.
Crash some point.
It's the same thing with you know. I blanked there, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, with prayer.
Yeah. It's saying the devil is the one giving you your own thought, questioning your spirituality, is allowing you to never engage with that thought. It makes that thought not even yours in a way that is sort of splitting your ego, in my opinion.
Yeah, it I had that issue a lot because like I grew up not being able to trust my own thought processes. Like
Right.
I never had confidence in myself, and so I always second guess like even my own just like day-to-day thought processes, to the point where I so my friend's stepdad called me one day, and
Yeah.
um he asked me if I wanted to cover for him at his job,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you can just do that?
Already
So I
know.
drove all the way to Six Flags, which was like an hour away, to work a security shift at a place I had never worked because he sounded so confident on the phone and questioned me when I was like, wait, what?
Well, that is
He
something.
called me because he has a coworker named Travis and didn't know my number was in his phone.
Wow.
That is exactly beat for beat something that would happen in Moral Oral to Oral. Like, just someone tells him, yeah, you have to do this job that's for adults and is like could be dangerous and you don't know how to do and you don't work here. And he's like, well, sure, I would never question an adult.
Come work at this factory line.
Yeah.
You want to sew some shoes?
That is one of my favorite episodes, is the one where they tell him he's not acting mature enough and that he needs to watch adults to learn how to act mature. So he, like, goes to a bar and starts watching how a bunch of drunk adults interact with each other. And I just really like the message behind that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even recently watched that one. He thinks he's getting old, like because he's hung over all the time. And also, a thing I noticed rewatching that episode is that his eyes look the same as his dad's all the episode because his dad is always drunk or hungover, and so he's always a little lidded on both sides, unlike other characters.
Oh.
I mean, it also helps with the jovial delivery, because he's like, "Ha ha, son."
Yeah.
Lousy dead-end job.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's it was definitely a controversial show. They pushed it really far. They were even told actively at one point to push it further, and of course, at some point, it just wasn't for the people that were asking for it anymore. Like, where were they going to put the darkest episodes of Moral Laurel with maybe one joke in them? If
So
you're
here it
lucky.
gets like really dark in the last season.
Yeah, it was
It
like
is-
3 episodes or so that got pulled, and understandably so, just because of the content in them. I think they're well done, but I understand them being like,
Yeah, it's Adult Swim, but I mean, you have a right to decide what's allowed on your network, and to splash that. I mean, they put a lot of pretty extreme psychological horror on there, which I think doesn't get recognized enough as like a threat to certain people. But
yeah.
I do agree. Like,
they're very good narratives. They do them very well.
put very shortly, like there's some at-home medical care that happens in one episode in particular that was considered over the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes as dark as it goes darker than you could get away with, in a sense.
Yeah, no, I'd say it goes farther than BoJack Horseman does on some things, which is pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, because BoJack Horseman, for one thing, makes an extremely serious deal out of the amount of consent that BoJack is getting from the people that he's having sex with, or even kissing, or even talking to.
Yeah.
And even ignoring the fact that Oral is led to commit sexual acts many times. There's plenty of that stuff that is treated much less seriously, because that's the lens of Moral Oral is, let's treat it like we were told to, that everything is fine, but let's just put the truth in there instead of the lies,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it can be really hard. It can be hard. I mean, I enjoyed it because it's easier when they're puppets on TV, actually. So it wasn't that
Yeah,
dark for me.
absolutely.
Like, I lived that shit,
But like the stuff they do with like the audio for just like emotional effect and stuff, like it could definitely hit somebody very hard. Like I could definitely see it happening.
Oh, for sure. But it's a funny show.
Give it a watch.
Yeah, no,
There's-
I think it's one of those things that, especially if you have religious trauma, you should absolutely watch it.
So I've been watching like some really cozy shit lately, and I need something to kind of juxtapose that. I feel.
Oh, it'll do that.
Well, it's
I
great
just finished
because
rewatching,
it'll start
go
like
ahead.
edgy, cozy parody. So you'll have a nice transition.
Yeah, no, it's season 3 whenever it officially, and the Christmas episode from season 1 where they completely change the tone. There's like not jokes, it's just psychologically analyzing and like looking at these characters that were jokes from a new angle the entire time, and it's very different than what a lot of shows do.
Yeah, I had heard. I'd read online about it, but that the plan initially was that they were going to do they pitched it as reversing the sitcom trope of a character getting broader and more cartoonish as the show went, and instead start with a straight up parody of Christian media and then slowly develop each character and see what is behind these broader archetypes. And there are hints throughout the show that they had stuff planned specifically. For example, Oral's friend, he says bye Oral in a very specific way that is a whole episode about that, and it's a really good show.
They have that one episode where the audio was discovered but wasn't animated, and some fans managed to do a fan-made claymation
I don't
episode
know
of
if
it
I've
too.
seen that. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely make time to look that up when you can. It's obviously not going to be the same full quality. It might have even been fans. It might have been the creator or something that just like did it with his own time. I don't remember the exact details.
Storyboards or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Is your drawing done? Why are you drawing so slow?
I'm getting there.
I thought you might be getting there.
You can't rush art.
Unfortunately, that's the crux of the show. You can and we do.
Here on Cutthroat Campus.
If it were up to me, and kind of the whole impetus behind this was like the meme going around of, it was just a Facebook post. What was the last show and video game you watched? But I didn't want to do it for my own. Because for me, it would have been Baldur's Gate and Joe Pera Talks With You. Which
That would have been so good.
it would have been hard to draw, but
No,
it would have
you
been
just draw-
lovely. And honestly, I just want to play that because I just want some like mild mannered house elf or half elf to show me his niece interest in Baldur's Gate.
What you do to get around this is, are you at all good at landscaping, or landscapes? I mean,
I'm okay. I've gotten better.
you do a big landscape, a big speech bubble with an entire cozy speech covering a huge portion of it, a little bit of Joe's face because he's focusing on the landscape, and like the tip of Lazelle's ear so that you know she's there.
Hell yeah.
Like, aren't goblins are often considered dirty, stinky, and unwanted, but I think their little piles of sticks and human heads show a certain creativity.
And sensuality.
I'm just kidding.
They've really got an interesting network and culture around them. And look how industrious they can be.
Did you see the slow and steady stand-up special that he uploaded?
I
to
haven't
YouTube?
watched it all yet.
But you saw the
I did
you saw the
start it.
beginning then?
Yeah, I adore it.
A great way to do an impression of Joe. The best way I've been able to do an impression of Joe Pera is just to do the "Hey Dahmer" line. From the very beginning, where it's like it's been a tough couple of months since the Dahmer show came out. It's like how he starts the actual show. And he's like, even the kids will go, "Hey Dahmer," and that's
Yeah,
just
like-
the punchline. I don't even know how he does it, honestly.
Even just trying to get into doing an impression of him, I automatically like hunch my neck over.
I just stumbled upon that show because I'm an anxious person. That's like why I happened to discover it myself. The initial cartoon was what I found, but I found it just as the first season of his Adult Swim show was airing, so I got real into this stuff.
Yeah, he's incredibly funny.
If you haven't gone all the way down the rabbit hole, then there is a video on someone else's YouTube channel of him visiting and building and helping to build a wooden stool, learning to build a wooden stool. And one other video where he reads some old-timey book the dude likes while he makes them old-timey buttered bread or whatever.
Oh, nice.
And those are both good. You know, when you're like, I need more Joe Pera and I've seen it all.
Mm-hmm. Because I first stumbled across it, Adult Swim was airing Christmas specials.
That was the first episode they aired, was the Christmas special.
The one where he finds a tree?
No,
We're talking about Joe Pera talks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Moral Oral still.
I thought you might be.
I know the Christmas episode of Moral Oral was like supposed to be the season finale for the first season.
Yep.
But whenever the show aired, they Adult Swim was like pushing Christmas episodes at the time, so they ended up having to like air that as the first episode, and like on the DVDs they're the first episode and everything too.
Such a bad
It's-
idea.
It's
Mhm.
I love. It's very the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya,
Oh
because
boy.
it's an interesting way to watch the show. I saw the Christmas episode first, right? And it's clearly not intended, but you know the gut punches are coming and they don't come, and it's an interesting place to be in.
Moral of the story is, haha, you should watch it, Travis. It's very good.
The moral of the oral is
You can moral
Moral of
my
the
oral.
Story is a podcast name. If anybody hasn't used it, you could make money off that.
You could. So
Not even like
Give
for
that to
a
them.
Moral Oral podcast. I mean oral, you know, the dirty one.
Yeah.
the
Where
dirty
you
one.
review all of Aesop's fables.
While repeating blowjob tutorials we find on the internet. Not like trying to do them. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you remember that it got big? It was like, I'm going to teach you how to grapefruit your man.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up.
hmm Yeah, all those, anything like that we can find, and just like we pick different fruits, and we're talking about like Edgar Allan Poe and trying to figure out how to do the best blowjob on this fruit.
So what's the moral of this oral?
Yeah, here at the Chin Wipe, we like to break things down.
Not like those degenerates at the damp towel.
If you call it the Funky Towel, it could be a nightclub.
Won't you take me to Funky Town?
Towel! Hey, they gotta have high voices. Have you seen how small they are?
Travis, I got some news for you.
What's that?
It's about time, buddy.
Oh boy.
Get into your last little
Maybe I
background.
just- I think this is it.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah. So yeah, that wasn't a great thing to stumble into. I'm not sure.
No, but Tamagotchi's all fed and shitted.
Oh god, thank God. I do not want to see this for any more minutes than I already have.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh my god, Clown? You're too nice. Thank
Clown
you.
Royal.
Wow, wowie!
Whoa.
Honks in the chat.
Yeah, everybody pog.
Honk.
Pog for your queen.
Honks in chat.
If we're giving honks in chat for Clown Royal, what are we gonna give Nevins? 2011s.
We'll give him nonks. Is that a bad word?
It's a little close to a bad word, yeah.
Yeah. It might look like I'm trying to get around some filters or something.
Well, then it's perfectly, benign. And
Yeah, you
we'll
think someone
start a
would
new
do
thing.
that? Just get around a filter?
I
That
do.
defeats the purpose of the filter.
Yeah. Quit insulting our filters with your
Before we
actions.
get off Moral Oral, I want to say I imagined a scene of him trying to visit a porn site, not knowing it's one probably, and it asks if he's 18 and he has to say no, so he has to find some way around that.
So he has to find an adult that'll let him onto
Yeah,
the
that'll
site.
let him log on to a porn site. That's perfect actually for a
He would
more
definitely
little
find-
episode.
He would find Coach. Coach would do it.
Oh, Coach Stop Frame? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He'd have
And
to
his
get something
dad
out of it.
wouldn't. His dad wouldn't scold him specifically for looking up porn. He would scold him specifically for the type of porn he's looking up because
Yeah,
it's
or not deleting his
Christian
history.
enough. I
Yeah.
like that they have the one like what was the like holy sex dungeon or whatever called, like the Sinner's Lounge. I remember them having a lot of really good jokes set up
I do
there.
not remember. Yeah,
It was like a bunch of like Christian themed BDSM, and it was really funny.
You know, because of Catholics.
All this talk of sex and violence and lewd behavior. I'm gonna go need to pray for a bit and really just clear my conscience before we continue.
One last moral oral quote.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
One
Just
for the-
blindfold the kid.
We'll be back.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah, let's continue talking about the 90s.
Let's continue talking about the 90s.
Every boy's toy was edible and body parts in the 90s.
And goopy.
Or bugs.
Except for Crossfire!
Did anybody ever get a Queasy bake oven?
I
No.
never got a Queasy Bake. The only one I wanted was you could make a jelly brain in some guy's head, and he like also extruded like edible snot slime or something.
Yeah, I always wanted just a regular Easy Bake Oven when I was a kid because I was like, those look a lot better though. I want the better tasting ones. I don't want gross stuff.
Yeah,
They're
we're
all
actually-
terrible.
Yeah.
I like I said, I had two brothers, two sisters, so I definitely got to play with an Easy Bake Oven, and like they're fun to play with, but ultimately
Not
they
deep.
make like you could make a mug brownie, and it would be infinitely better.
I was always bummed I couldn't eat my creepy crawlers.
Yeah, you should be able to eat your creepy crawlers.
Maybe I will make a mug brownie right now. No, we just had the break, but I'm gonna BRB.
All right.
Yeah,
You
you
go
do
ahead.
what you gotta do.
Sure. I mean, we just got here. It seems
wrong?
different than I remember. Am I the only one getting that?
I smell something. I don't know
That's
what it
probably
is.
the extreme flavorings.
It smells like
Is
Doritos.
that a waft of Kool-Aid on the air?
Oh, Doritos and Kool-Aid?
Wow.
The past
That-
smells
that-
weird.
That got into my like literary use of the word loins. When you said Doritos and Kool-Aid, I've eaten that so many times, and like now I actually would like Doritos and Kool-Aid. Like that's something I would like be delighted right now to see.
Well, maybe we'll hit up the gas station after this.
Shoot, Survivor. They'll be like, "Here it is, cookies and milk," and they'll be like, "That's what I was thinking of." That's what I was doing. I was like, "Wow, I'd love some of that." Too much sugar, please. Black cherry. Anyway, sorry.
It's
I've
okay.
always been a fan of blue.
Yeah, I like blue.
My family only ever got black cherry unless I forced them to get grape and pink lemonade too.
Your family always would, or at least we always would mix them. So you'd get two weird flavors and put them together.
We either had to, or of course, you get bored of
The same.
jugs of the same drink. So you sort of just do whatever. Purple and lemonade is pretty good. Grape and lemonade is pretty good actually, because they both have this tang, this really dusty sugar taste that somehow combines in a nice way.
Yeah.
You get
I
the
guess
best
it's like-
of both worlds.
I guess it's like how until you get a taste for it, it's hard to describe what's nice about tequila and the way it mixes with certain drinks and stuff. Because it's like you describe the taste of tequila to somebody, and they're like, "Then why do you drink it?"
Yeah, it definitely tastes like paint remover.
But no, for me, it's always tasted like sour and a little.
Got a funk.
I guess
to it.
pickly isn't. Yeah, it's got a funk exactly, and that's why they're like
It's like
tequila people like wine people.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And you can really get into it. I actually like tequila a lot. It is, I know some people don't buy into different booze hitting you mentally in different ways, but I've always had a good time.
I like tequila.
Tequila's my number one, my go-to, except for straight shots. I wouldn't do anything. Any liquor of a straight shot sounds bad. I guess I'd probably go with like grain vodka.
I go with a gin.
Oh no, never mind. I mean, if I can just pick a straight shot of like a nice vodka that's like, really clear, I probably would be pretty good, honestly. No, never mind. Suntory whiskey. I can't drink anymore. Sorry, that's why I'm getting so excited. I'm on like 3-4 medications that tell you not to drink.
My boss got me a nice bottle of Japanese whiskey that's been really nice to have.
Oh yeah.
I got given a whole bottle by my fiance's family because they didn't like it. And I was like, you kidding?
Oh,
You don't
wow.
like Suntory? It's like the best whiskey you can have at that price. It's so good.
You're getting that shit in
Mhm.
Yakuza.
Mm-hmm. Yamazaki.
While we're at it, I think I'm gonna kind of show the folks at home and really, maybe I'll bust out the Polaroid and see what we're surrounded by here, because it seems familiar,
Easysaurus Rex!
different.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I do remember some of these things, but not like this.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I think
It's all been crunchitized?
I'm looking at the Game Boys, and I think a lot of the internal batteries on the cartridges
Uh-huh.
went out while we were traveling. Something's off.
That's the exact wrong thing that I wanted to hear, Travis.
Guys,
Hey, I had 20 minutes to build it.
Yeah.
I realized a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
Weed was really weak in the 90s.
Oh no.
No skin off my back.
Damn you, Travis. This was your plan all along. You bring us to the 90s without our consent to detox?
You had full consent. I'm starting.
Oh, this is a perfect narrative peak because we're not at our destination yet. All right, I'm getting out of here. You guys suck.
I guess clown's just staying in the 90s.
Well, goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye bye.
Enjoy your Kool-Aid jammers and fruit by the foot.
Yep. And your I don't know, I don't think gushers were invented yet. Your lack of gushers.
No, they were. I mentioned the fruit heads
Oh, you're
before.
right. Yeah. Hey, candy was better. Candy cigarettes?
Ooh, yeah. Give me some bubblegum cigars.
Oh man, I miss those.
Did somebody say Butterfinger BBs?
Butterfinger BBs? Whoa.
Don't
we're
lay
s-
a finger.
Do you remember the Butterfingers were so much sweeter with the Simpsons on the wrapper?
Yeah. Bart really
Oh,
knew
they
how
were
to-
that much better. I like that candy to be recognizable.
Yeah, those little pellets.
Yeah, and
They're
they'd always.
BBs.
That's like the perfect movie theater snack.
It is. Everybody ripped it off, even.
Do the
And
Barman.
then they stop.
In all fairness, I guess we've always done chocolate-covered things.
Yeah, look at
But like the suspension that is a candy bar that is a ball, I think was genuinely like Butterfinger BBs was the first one to like hit the market.
I don't know, like
nah, malted milk
Whoppers.
balls.
Oh, well, okay, but those are candy coated a lot more than a Butterfinger. I think. I mean, personally, it's a small distinction. I mean, because like I feel like they have the malt balls, right, and they candy them, and I guess they do that with the Butterfingers too. But they're not. I don't know actually. Are they like? It's not like a suspension, right? Is it, or is it a ball?
I don't remember.
The Whoppers, or
The Butterfinger BBs. I don't remember.
yeah, it was just like that. Crunchy, tooth-sticking Butterfinger filling in.
It's funny.
form.
That's peanut butter brittle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like woven
little
and layered.
They were little BBs. They were
Yeah,
just little balls.
It's a brittle. They were balls. Okay.
I'm trying
Never
to find
mind then. I actually thought they were a. What was the first thing? I don't know. I had a. pretty early on Crackle or something, maybe. Anyway, I like
Crackle early on. The failed streaming service.
the Hershey sub bar with rice in it.
Ah,
I think they made good balls that obviously weren't a ball of rice, so they had to sort of evenly dispense it, and so it was a creamier, crunchy experience.
ooh,
Yeah, I like them. I've always been a fan of puffed rice and chocolate.
yeah, big Bunch of Crunch fan.
What else is in Bunch of Crunch?
It's the same thing. It's just Crunch bars, but in pellet form.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I'm. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Never had that.
You know what else is good if we're talking about just being total fatties? Klondike bars with Crunch bar like casing. So
Ooh,
it's got crackly chocolate. Unfortunately, they got super lazy with them. I've had like 2 pellets of rice on my crackle.
You've had your daily allotted crunch.
They're like, you bought Klondike bars that had seen rice, all right?
Rest
There's
in
rice.
peace, Choco Tacos.
The Choc Talk.
Ooh,
think
bring it
chocolate-
back.
I think they're back. I don't think they're anywhere.
I never particularly. I don't know. I never went for those. I always go for like a nice chewy sherbet or something. If I go out for an ice cream or something. I guess
Big
I've always.
fan of the strawberry shortcake, frozen bars.
Oh,
so good.
those are so good. The Dippin' Dots ones.
It was Blue Bunny.
Oh. But they were like crunchy,
They're covered in,
crumbly
like,
on the outside, right?
Yeah, they're covered in
Yeah.
like Dippin' Dots.
Okay,
even though
yeah,
they're not
yeah,
name
yeah.
brand.
Those were so good, and it was actually a nice and subtle flavor, which is pretty rare in the dessert aisle.
Hmm.
A nice creamy.
Good luck getting subtle flavors here in the neo 90s.
Yeah, the subtle flavor wafts above the food in the 90s. I know. Wait, the neo 90s?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm seeing here.
Ah, damn it! Is that why Cheesysaurus Rex had that visor on? No, that happened in the
be.
90s. I'm
The
still
Burger King
skeptical.
Kids Club.
Yeah. Never mind. How am I supposed to tell that this is the neo 90s when everything in the 90s was part robot anyway?
I always thought the mascot for that was the coolest thing ever. Just this dude with that cyborg glasses. I also just thought the Burger King's
did.
Kid Club was the funniest shit, just because it's like the most like marketed forced diversity that they have, where they're like, okay, we're gonna use as many one person to represent as many people as we can. Which is
That was a very 80s into 90s cartoon trope, though.
yeah.
Like-
It was genuinely, they managed to make it offensive too, which is the best, because it's always like,
Yeah, exactly.
and then there's wheels.
Exactly, because I'm like, it's not bad to include more people and have more representation like that. The way they do it is just so manufactured. That's what makes it like, oh no.
I mean, that's
Used to
the,
sell a product is what makes it kind of gross.
Yeah, I mean, the Burger King Kids Club, of course, is never going to be held to any kind of high artistic standard because, yeah, it's some smiles to slap on your burger packaging.
It should be.
Hey, I mean, I wish we can hold everything to an artistic standard, but it's not being asked for by the people who matter, I should say, because obviously some of us care.
E-
We need a new Burger King Kids Club. This is going to be in the new modern age Kids Club.
With blackjack and hookers.
Just blindfold the kid. Anyway, one of the characters, and this is one of the funnier later episodes. One of the characters can't decide between God and the devil and Moral Laurel, and when he meets the Satanists, it's just a bunch of pudgy buffet enjoyers, spanking each other and stuff.
Sign me up.
Yeah, no, there's actually nothing wrong with that, but he was hoping.
But they made him a bunch of like creeps he didn't want to be around too, right? Like they were just really socially inept.
Yeah.
Like the awkward conversation just kept coming up, and they're like, "Oh,
It's very the anime club at school. Like it's a lot of people. I mean, people who are going to be Satanists in the world of Moral Laurel are going to be people that have always been on the outside, so they might as well make an identity of it.
I fucking love the special education episode."
Oh man, there's a lot of good episodes.
Where it's just a bunch of all the atheists in the school are in special education.
I
And they
mean,
have to, like, hide
genuinely
their
just the
literature.
smart kids. Yeah.
Yes. And the way that they have like the whole social hierarchy, they're all seen as dumber than everyone, so they just have to pretend to believe in God to keep somewhat of a social standing.
There's an interesting arc in Moral Oral too, because in the first season, Oral's exclusively a victim, and in the further seasons, there are many times when you see what he's taught make him the perpetrator of some of the unkindness in the town, and it's really interesting to see how that develops, because it's also while you're getting to see his moments of pain rather than him putting on that smiling face. And so you see him actually comprehending some of the things that have happened around him for the first time, at the same time as you do see him still unknowingly, like, spreading some kind of bigotry or, you know, helping people hurt other people for one reason or another. And, you know, they've always held that the show isn't really anti-Christian. I mean, there are many times that they point out that the Bible doesn't say a lot of the stuff that people care most about when they talk about being Christians. But
The Lost Commandments.
the Lost Commandments, yeah, thou shalt not bastardize the English language is always my favorite one. But he becomes more human, and you get to see him do bad things. And you see, and it's important to learn that a follower with good intentions, who does not question, can do harm and even be cruel.
What?
Yeah, no, you're
But
not.
they're doing it for the Lord.
I mean, that's the problem, right? That is the problem, is that there is a bedrock, you know, like in Minecraft, to the conversation you can have with somebody if they're willing to say, well, just because God says so.
That's called faith.
Yeah. But, you know, there is stuff below the bedrock.
One episode that's always left a really
Yeah,
big
hell.
impression on me was it was a season 3 one, I'm pretty sure. It might have been the very end of season 2, but I remember there being one where he I already think the premise is funny because he's they get mad at him and they ban him from church for a week, which is like mental anguish for him because he's so addicted to going to church. Just serving God is his favorite thing to do. And the whole episode involves him like coming across a revelation, realizing some stuff about God and how real God is and blah blah blah. And he starts like talking about it, and it gets his dad realizes that he's like starting to like have his own teachings and like stuff that he's coming to terms with, and like his dad literally like spanks the lesson out of him, and like you watch it like in real time, like the lesson like leaving his mind while he's getting spanked, and it's so painful to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the best thing. The joke that hits the hardest, the commentary that hits the hardest for me, always in the show, is that in every single episode, the formula is that he gets spanked with a belt by his father, and you are initially framed to consider that completely normal. And the show doesn't consider that completely normal and intends to comment on that. It's really interesting. It's a good show.
I've seen a religious video before too, like one that was like publicly available on YouTube, where they're like, it was supposed to be about like someone being like, no, this wizard toy is satanic. God doesn't like that. And the way it's really bizarre and weird, because the way it's like visually framed and like the cinematography behind it and stuff makes it look like the mom's supposed to be a bad guy. Like she's the antagonist in the story, when she's supposed to be like telling her kid, no, God doesn't like it for this reason. Let's throw that in the trash. And it's really bizarre.
Yeah. It's like God, a very useful tool for parents.
Like, why did the people who animated it like? I guess they're trying to use fear tactics, but
it's one of those things where they feel parents ought to know that they should and can abuse their children into doing what both them and their parents would like them to. Like, I mean, that's I try not to get too political. Genuinely, this has been me not getting political. but but you know, like people the reason that people are pro corporal punishment is because hitting someone is an easy way to keep them in line. And if you don't keep your children in line, they may develop ideas that do not cause them to vote for people they don't know to get more money than them.
It's an important lesson.
The third season was
Check your
actually starting to
hubris, you
get
get hit.
into like something involving the town getting taken over in an election coming up and stuff. So like potential is going to go into topics like that.
They intended to include his grandpa as a positive reflection of what a Christian who was a kind and generous person might actually look like. And Clay always hated his dad, and we never got to see that fully.
Yeah, it was nice that we got before oral at least.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing I didn't think we would get.
I
I know
did.
that was a show that whenever I was like living in the religious drama situation myself, like seeing commercials for on Adult Swim, I was like, I cannot watch this, dude. This is such an eerily familiar feeling, and I don't like religion and hit this team like at the time of when I saw these commercials, but like I could just tell the vibe was gonna be too much for me because of how fucking hard it was gonna hit with everything.
Very
It's a show both for people that understand it and to make people understand. But I think that harshness does often have the opposite effect. But I think it was approached as art, right? You know, and not propaganda, and that's the right way to do works like that, I think.
Make a compelling story for the sake of making a compelling story.
Yeah.
It's very funny to me because the way that show is structured, the world building, it's like go to like SpongeBob, and like every episode is either like underwater themed or like pirate themed or fast food themed. Like it has these central themes that it sticks to, or like you go to Chowder and that's like, okay, there's gonna be something involving food for the theme of this episode for the world building.
Whatever form they come up with
just
for
like,
the dish name.
Yeah. And you get a moral oral, and they're like, okay, the theme for this episode is going to be Christianity. We're going to find a new theme to explore with that. And it's the fact that they managed to really not lose fuel with what they were doing. They seem to have so much more stuff they wanted to cover, too.
Yeah, they were far from done. You know, I'm really struggling with this neo-90s concept, though, because, again, when I think back to the 90s, I just think about screens, televisions, people being cyborgs all the time, muscle guys on the comic books, like really muscle guys. I always used to complain that Wolverine like was a pile of muscles with eyes and a mouth on a lot of comic covers back in the day.
The Rob Liefeld era.
Yeah, and I mean, far beyond Rob Liefeld, even in terms of unlikely anatomy. But I don't know, Wolverine is a meaty enough character. I think this is going to sound incredibly pretentious, but I've always loved superheroes. I don't know if you're familiar with Commedia dell'arte.
Superheroes?
Yeah, superheroes.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
No, I'm not know if you're familiar with Commedia dell'arte, but it's Italian, and it's all the characters are named characters who are archetypes that always do these things. So
yeah, so you know who the characters are going in, and
yeah, it allows you to do some profound storytelling from time to time, and I think that's definitely where Superman lands, and what people miss about it is that the thing Superman doesn't have is what Die Hard has, where the guy has to crawl through glass or something. You know, he goes through something. Superman cannot go through that kind of physical punishment and have it mean anything. Even if he's on kryptonite or whatever, he's Superman, you know.
Well, Superman's off the wagon. He's on kryptonite again.
And he's shooting it up. I'm sure you know pink kryptonite, right?
Is that the one that makes him horny?
Makes you gay.
Oh.
It makes you an offensive gay stereotype. Now, this is the reason I bring this up isn't just out of nowhere. That story ran in the 90s.
They're still struggling with how to handle gay characters.
That story is coming out right now in the Neo 90s. Or Neo coming out. On the Neo
hopefully
printing
it's
press.
more tastefully handled. But I mean, we'll have to do some digging around and see.
Like, it was just, and it's weird because it was also like a throwback in that the idea was from the old clickbait Superman era of, it's for your own good, Jimmy, and like Superman's about to crush Jimmy Olsen with a car. And then they just manufacture that situation. It's not clickbait in the sense that they don't do it, unlike modern clickbait, but it's not satisfying. It's a terrible story that leads to technically them delivering the panel they show that makes you buy it,
Yeah.
and then explains why that's fun. And I guess that's a fine thing to do, because like status quo is not the devil in creative media. You can do plenty with a show that must begin from the same point at all times.
Yeah, I think some shows do that really well.
I agree.
Like just kind of the episodic nature of it, but you know, really finding ways to delve from that. Like I think regular show does that really well.
Yeah. Regular show, I don't know. Here's the thing. I love, the trend that Adventure Time caused for everything to have lore and cool world building and be serious about some stuff. I feel like regular show only got that via the radiation of the rest of the industry at the time. So I don't know how I really feel about like the extras, some of the more serious stuff, or just even how far it goes with concepts sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, J.G. Quintel and Penn Ward worked together prior to either regular show or Adventure Time.
That is true. Yeah, they were on Flapjack.
Yeah.
Both
I
of
just
those.
finished rewatching that entire series, and that will always remain one of my favorite cartoons. That is the pinnacle of. I always tell people to check it out if you want to see more like classic SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
It has
They
some
do
of that
gross
theme on
out
it,
in like
too.
really comedically pleasing ways.
Really funny jokes. Really, really funny.
It's really
dialogue.
interesting because it is very kind of 90s in a way, Flapjack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of
Everything's-
stuff where I'm confused how they were able to get away with it, even at the time, even after gross out humor it had its like big boom and everything, and it was kind of pretty desensitized to it. I'm still like, how do you still manage to find stuff this gross? Wow.
Well, studios love to give people a little bit of leeway, and then like punish them for it. That happens a lot in the industry, and so that's
Alex
sort
Hirsch
of how
talks
it
about it
happens.
a lot.
Who does?
Alex Hirsch.
Oh, I bet. But yeah, it's like, oh man, no, really push the envelope. We're different, and we care so much about your story.
They have the facade of supporting art.
For art's sake, yeah. I watched a show. It's not that terribly good, but it was called Episodes, and it was a British show about a husband and wife writing duo who wrote a comedy that was a huge success in Britain, and they moved to the US to do the American version of it and be on that show, like writing for it. And the whole show is just about being surrounded by people who are not being genuine with you, and like even the nice people, like because they live there and they work there and they're nice in the mean self-serving way that everyone is mean. And it's a pretty funny show. Matt, what's his name? Matt LeBlanc. Joey plays himself. Because
fun.
they get the show. The show's about a fat, like lovable, housemaster or whatever they're called at a British, boarding school, and like the shenanigans that he would get into. The kids, they love him and respect him, but they get up to trouble sometimes and stuff like that. And they cast that character with Matt LeBlanc is one of the first changes they do. And they're like, we don't really see how this could possibly work. And they're like, well, Matt's really interested and he's a huge name, so, we probably won't even be able to get him. You should meet with him. And like he's, and they show him getting that same treatment where it's like, but they love you. I know it's not your normal thing, but they're obsessed with meeting you. You should meet them just to do us a favor,
Right.
If you so it's a whole show of characters. It's a comedy, sort of a sitcom-y ish. By dramedy, I guess they have marriage problems because of various things that happen in LA, and it's funny, but it makes me think of that, because there's very much like a words are nothing. It's something that they talk about a lot in the show Succession, where people in business often learn to speak in a transactional way, in a differently transactional way. We're not talking about they're after brain chemistry. They want deeds or money. They want something. And there's a moment in one of the episodes of Succession where one of the main characters says, those were just words. What are words? They're nothing. They're complicated airflow. And that's the show,
Right. There are moments like that in Community that quote reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's in Jeff Winger in Community, there is a frustration almost in his sway over people, and he has almost a disdain for persuading people of things because he's always
he
been
says,
for it, and he kind of hates himself.
Yeah, he always says or at least once said, language is just a tool to manipulate people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came to that, I believe, incorrect conclusion at one point when I was very high, and I had a roommate who was not particularly, he was incredibly self-serving, and I'm like, for a second I was like, oh no, all people only talk to serve their own ends, there is no communication that is truly morally good, is the kind of freak out you can have when you're not a practiced psychonaut. But, then I realized, oh no, that's just this guy.
Yeah.
This person tricked me rather than asking me something because he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And it's interesting. That is such a great example of the way that your mental framing can change your life.
Yeah, language is powerful, and the words you choose affect the words you think with, and that's massively impactful.
Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy is, pretty big right now, and there's obvious that there are signs that obviously it works. That thoughts, actions, and emotions are all separate things that influence one another, and what you do influences what you say influences what you do, and what you think influences both of those things equally. And it is that cycle of feelings to thoughts to emotion or to actions that you have to stop and consider if you want your life to change is the idea with CBT.
Right.
I think truly good therapy is less technical than that, just because it's more tailored. So more technical for some other people, maybe. It's like
it's good to have those structures in place that you can, kind of use to start really working on your own personal experience.
Yeah. And I had to do a lot of that myself. I had no insurance and stuff. I spent a lot of nights studying mental health like the Blade,
While you were out partying.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting in bed crying, trying to figure out how to make that not happen.
Studying the psychic blade.
I was studying. I'm really good at throwing wadded tissues across the room into a trash bag.
For the crying, right?
Yeah. No, I was going to say don't ask how, but you're right. It is for the crying. Well, actually, no, it's for another fluid that comes out of me. It's for the snot.
Oh.
It's my favorite.
For the adrenochrome.
Well, that's my favorite fluid.
That comes out of you
love
or
to,
in general?
I love to. I don't think I produce adrenochrome anymore, but I think only little babies have adrenochrome. You pop the top, right?
Yeah,
just
but their
get
blood
stopped.
tastes so good.
Suck it out like a candy vampire.
I'm
I
just
would
drawing that
love-
like a Capri Sun.
I would love to see this clipped out for a call out video on somebody here, by some crazy conspiracy theorist. Somebody here makes it big to some degree, and they're like, "You think they're so good?" They were literally openly talking about the way they like to drink babies on this show, and still, people keep clicking like and subscribe.
Yeah, the fools.
Honestly, they could dig back a little bit through the YouTube channels and probably find worse stuff I've said on here.
Right. I mean,
That's my challenge to you, haters. Watch all my videos.
You know what's funny is we've both psychically now summoned haters and like fervent fans that must have all of the content. So welcome to both, I suppose. Hi guys. I have nothing to do with him.
I've got
unless you're one of the fans, in which case I have a book you can buy.
I've got a way to tie in the haters. Hey haters, tell us how much you hate us, and then I'll delete the comments, and then you'll be like, why did he delete the comments? And
Literally deleting comments.
What are you trying to cover up?
well, then I'm gonna get more engagement out of it. I farm you for 2 comments.
That's pretty good. That's 2 money.
Yeah,
Oh, that's 2 more money than we're getting.
that's right. So bring it on, haters.
Now, I distinctly
Haters, get in
recall
the comments.
giving you money on this stream.
It's working. See?
Oh, you've
And it's much
shifted
appreciated.
causality?
Mhm. We've made 2 money.
No, I mean,
We're using the
You got us
secret.
up.
We're putting it out there in the world. We're trying to visualize it and make it happen.
yep.
genuinely, I genuinely prefer to sub to people who will notice. So it's not a big deal.
I mean, we
We know.
Like, I don't have the kind of money to be dropping to get my name rattled off at the beginning of some stream by some hot lady or, like, Moist Critical. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Crit. At least Charlie Winsmore would notice you.
Charlie full on talk to the chat. I have spoken to the man, you know, because he replied to my comment directly in terms of just, like, it was the question I asked, read out, then responded to, you know?
Nice.
And it is, like, addictive. I see why people get so weird about it. Like, it is nice that somebody you thought was cool that there's no reason you would ever meet would just be like, hey, that's a good point. Or, I don't know about that, but hey.
No, I get that. Like, I talked about it here when I met Mega 64. I met them at a Target after their first tour show, and got to talk with Garrett, and he was just like a very sweet person. I'm like, I was a little starstruck.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to their Game Days event before I was even like really into them. Which was at Disneyland, and then Sean from Mega 64, I was wearing one of their shirts, and I was freezing to death because I was not dressed for the November night weather of Anaheim. And
you didn't get on Splash Mountain, did you?
no, I was just wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and it got so cold and I wasn't ready for it. But he stopped me in passing, like on his way out, and was just like, hey, thanks so much for coming out. And I'm like, oh, he noticed. How did he know? And then I looked down and saw I was wearing a Mega 64 shirt.
There was a guy.
It was really
No
special,
idea.
and it felt special to be, noticed in that moment.
Oh yeah.
You know, honestly, that human connection is completely missing in the world that we have designed for ourselves. I mean, humanity, obviously. Like, there's a guy, don't even know who he was, but he spoke to and hung out with the talent at an anime con I went to. Who, in the hall, not in the elevator even, stopped and talked to me about a shirt I was wearing because he recognized it and he used to read the thing, And it was just nice of him to, even though he's seen being important, act like I'm a human being too.
Yeah.
Because people at Walmart won't. Like, it's not like because he's so special, because I don't think he may not have even been famous. He may have just been a trusted handler in terms of event staff,
Right.
But just, like, you get snarls at Walmart some days. People will bite you.
Yeah, we have a really weird, like, I'm pretty sure, it's not like this all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think America just has, like, this very weird kind of cloistered up, almost fear-based. Like, everyone's out there because they want something from you.
I've got such a good point to make about this. Or that's patting myself on the back. What I mean is, you are exactly right. So much of our grid, our structure, comes from white people moving away from cities when they got rich enough, to get away from minorities. Like, the fear is evident, I think, as is the racism in the very structure of America, yes. But also it's cars. Car companies pay lots of money to keep things long highways away from you.
When you said it's cars, I thought you were specifically blaming the Pixar series for like all of
cars really turn things around for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's by design. GM bought a bunch of the old railways and turned the rails into engine blocks, which is why we don't have like an efficient rail system here in the States.
And they made it illegal for railroad workers to go on strike anymore. Hooray!
Yeah. But on the other hand, you know, I was hoping I'd come up with something shitty. Oh, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk got handed money to kill the Hyperloop. So, you know,
I
Musk got more money.
Oh, good. He needed that.
I found the positive. Elon, my buddy, got more money.
Everyone's good friend, Elon.
This is like, you know, stopping and jumping extra high to collect one of the tricky coins on the way to the end of the level for this dude. He's like, should I suppress the public transit system? I guess if they're gonna, if they're gonna bribe me.
He'll do anything for just the mildest amount of support or interaction.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's to feel important at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess no. You know what? He wasn't paid to. He owns stock in Tesla. That's why he doesn't want public transportation. But I mean, he's even said he's not going to do the the Musk tunnel. I mean, I know there are some in Vegas or whatever, but
yeah, it's because they're shareholders, and it's not good for business.
And we can talk about that as well structurally. A lot of what we have comes from the need for companies to consistently grow, and the goal of infinite growth in companies causes them to need to maximize. It almost causes suffering to become a necessity. Like,
yeah, there's money in suffering.
Only posting upward trending stock prices that's the only motivator for some of the worst suffering in the world. You know what I mean? And like, if it was just considered normal at all for you to not expand as a company to any degree, we might have been saved so much trouble in life.
No, that's the death knell, because you can't have people putting more money into your company because the consumer doesn't matter. It's the stockholders.
Yeah, and I mean, even them, not really. It's you and your bank account. The one you keep from your wife.
Well, you don't want to lose everything in a messy divorce that is sure to come.
What planet? What planet do some of these people come from? If we're just going to talk about politics, Ron DeSantis dropped out of the presidential race, and it's like, what do you get for showing up to take a whole bunch of public abuse and not be allowed to criticize your biggest opponent? Like, what is he going to do? Say that he didn't think Trump was good? That's the thing they don't like about the Democrats. But anyway,
he's forever a public enemy of Disney now too, which is just really funny reputation to have.
Yeah, like, Disney owns that state, not the Republican Party. It was a weird choice. Oh, excuse me.
It's party lines. It's very stupid how that dictates anybody trying to do anything worthwhile or real.
Yeah, and
you can't have the thing you might actually support because the other guys want it.
Yeah, and To be clear, I mean, structurally, I keep saying that, but like in policy, in the way the government is set up, we only have like we have the Democrats to blame for a lot of that because as long as Republicans act stupid, they can continue to not actually have to be meaningfully pro-human, you know.
Right.
Like we are the guys who just want to give all your money to businesses. Those guys want to give all your money to businesses, and they say you can only be blonde now. I don't know what that's about. Probably not going to be a concern. You know, so which one do you want?
Oh, I guess I'm voting Republican.
Want to dye your hair?
I don't want to
you...
be blonde.
That's the little politics corner. It's frustrating to feel unheard, and I think it's probably the most common feeling in the world right now.
Yeah. But everyone feels heard to some degree because everybody has a platform.
I mean, that's the thing. You no longer have a platform. You have to be discovered by a talent scout, essentially. You have to hit the lottery with the talent scouts now just a bunch of ones and zeros. You know what I mean? Like, you put out a YouTube video that is immaculate, perfect. You could literally put out a YouTube video that makes you orgasm the moment you witness a second of it and has no bad effects, and you love it and everybody loves it, but they're able to stop if they want, you know? And still, it would not get pushed unless, 1 second cum video was what was trending that week.
Well, did you put your O face in the thumbnail?
Well, no. That's what I'm saying.
Well, how do you expect to get picked up?
At least it's an excuse for the expression, right?
I didn't like this thumbnail. It was too on the nose.
Twitter was also a really good resource for like modern internet stuff while we were all like conforming to just moving like all internet communities to just like 5 platforms. At least was a good one of those ones
for artists.
Yeah, for finding art and stuff. I don't post up there anymore just because I know he keeps implementing more and more AI, and I'm just like, okay, just gonna get to the point where he's gonna start sampling this shit for AI art, and I don't want to contribute to that, unfortunately. But he's just made it such a bad platform.
Yeah, and arguably some of that's intentional because he doesn't want, conversations. Like, the kind of conversations, the kind of organizing that was possible on Twitter is not possible on X, and that's not a coincidence that Musk bought it and hasn't made any money, you know what I mean? Like, he's always out here serving his interests. And yes, it makes him the laughingstock of the whole world for a bit, but everybody's happy, that has power in this country. Everybody's happy that he killed public transit. Everybody's happy that he's anti-union. So,
yeah.
They don't want the public to have power.
Who cares if they hate him? It's better they hate him than they hate the government, people whose houses they know the location of.
Yeah.
I think he does care. I think he's that small.
I mean, he cares, but I think there's genuinely some possibility that, like, he's literally some selected conservative whipping boy here to take the punishment. Like, we need Twitter gone because people are organizing on Twitter. We need the Hyperloop killed. Call that guy a pedophile. I don't know why we get out of that one.
There's that popular quote by one of his former employees, I guess. I forget, someone from SpaceX, I think, but he said Elon wants to save the world. Elon wants the world to be saved, but only if it's Elon who saves the world.
Right.
And that essentially just being his outlook on everything. Like, he sure likes the idea of, like, future technology and stuff, but he wants to be the face of that. He wants to be the one doing that. He doesn't want to redistribute his wealth and get that shit going. He wants to be the fucking superhero that we all, modern Tony Stark. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, luckily that didn't last too long. I guess it was years, but no one cared about the guy until everybody loved him for half a second, and then he started saying things out loud or whatever.
He had a Simpsons episode.
I know. No, he was in Rick and Morty. He was in Iron Man 2.
He was in South Park as well, which
Mhm.
really feels weird.
He was in Star Trek. Or
Yeah.
he got name dropped in Star Trek.
Yes, but by the bad one.
What's the bad one?
The first one they
Movie.
launched on the new platform, the streaming when they launched whatever streaming service that owns Star Wars or Star Trek. I mean,
Oh, is it Picard?
no. It was before
Before that.
Picard. It was starring like Spock's hidden secret half sister who trained with him under Spock's dad, and she was a human. And at one point, she was like in a prison, and she like asks the computer to divide by 0, and she gets let go or whatever. Like really silly stuff. And
Oh, that's so
Elon
hack.
Musk was one of the people they were talking about when they were like, "Oh yes, when we got the world all good and made Super Utopia with Musk Tech or whatever, like really just sucking his dick."
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's.
Cool,
I mean,
cool,
there are
cool.
many missteps at that show, but the Elon Musk one's really embarrassing. They avoided gaffes like that for the most part for decades.
Oh,
They
yeah,
weren't like. And
Roddenberry
once we
was
developed
brilliant.
Betamax.
I think that was a very intentional choice, back in the original days, was to just stick to the technology we have. That's the technology we're going to talk about. We're not going to try and make references to.
I mean, they
We're not
do.
going to try and date this.
There was canonically an Irish reunification in the 2020s, for example, and stuff like that. Like they talk a little bit about stuff that happened, and so that was what they were doing, where they were like, and then once Musk developed infinite money for everybody or whatever. But that was when like all anybody knew about him was that he made the Teslas and the rockets. That was all anyone had heard.
Right.
And he's like, he likes to be on Twitter. It doesn't seem like a problem at the moment.
I like that one
Oh,
story
how
about
naive.
his Twitter addiction being so bad. I believe it was before he owned Twitter too, but
Yeah.
About,
I
like,
mean,
the
it's
guy
probably why he
sharing the
bought it, I'm
hotel.
sure.
there was a guy sharing the hotel room with him and being like, dude, put it away for the night. Get some time away from that because it's bad for you. Just chill,
Yeah.
let's hang out tonight. They put it like in a safe that night. And apparently he woke up in the middle of the night because Musk had called security to open the safe because he needed to open his phone. He needed to look at Twitter, and it's just fucking Christ. I feel like I'm addicted to social media platforms, but I hear a story like that and I'm like,
Yes, it's
Well,
not so bad. Yeah.
bad.
Social media gets boring sometimes because there's not enough people on it for you. And Elon Musk could get anyone to talk to him on the phone, on social media. So that's a totally different thing. That's like having, before chatbots became a thing, that was he could just message the real, I don't know, Eminem, and everybody loved him so much back then. It was just, here's Eminem, hey, what's up? So I would be addicted to it too. And, even if 2 million people call you an idiot, if you still have 100,000 people calling you a genius every single time you say anything, you could focus on that.
Means you're doing
100,000
well.
people can't be wrong.
Twitter doesn't support NFTs anymore too, and I just think that's really funny. That's a recent change they did.
And
Yeah,
not good
I
enough.
wasn't there. I wasn't so concerned about the NFTs in terms of, I don't know. There was a lot of doom saying about NFTs were going to be forced. They're trying to force us, and they're going to make it happen. You see, and I was like, they're just dumb. You can't explain what they are, and that's why they're valuable. But everybody's not Silicon Valley. You can't just say words that the person doesn't understand until they give you money everywhere. At some point that falls over.
He was just trying to bring the idea of fine art into the digital era. And what I say by fine art is that, people would use paintings and stuff as tax havens because they would have art appraiser friends appraise another friend's painting for so much money, and then they donate that painting, and it's like, oh, I made this big charitable donation for something I paid very little money for.
Yeah, I mean that's the history of like these paintings that having so much value monetarily. Yeah, and it's also, of course, a great way to hide assets because you can buy a painting that is known to be a $4 million painting. Like that's not fraud at this point in the world or whatever. Not tell anybody, and that's $4 million that no one can take from you. No one knows you have.
Hmm.
And yeah, that is exactly what they want. But ultimately, NFTs aren't for the common man or the digital era. Like they are just a relic. But the problem is, no one was able to explain, that it wasn't a JPEG, and that's the thing. You have to have that first hurdle you have to clear. No matter what else you have, why isn't this a singly savable image that everyone has now because you've posted it? Is the very first question, and they don't have an answer.
Which is a bummer.
Whenever I
'Cause,
think
like,
about something like being the future, I'll think of like I have personal biases. I'll just think of like cool cyberpunk robotic, like, whoa, things are becoming so much more convenient with all this new technology we're having. People would say like NFTs are the future, and I'm like, it doesn't align with this at all.
What are they gonna do? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and
and
of course they mean like the blockchain or whatever. But the whole thing with the blockchain was that it was needlessly complex as a security measure. So like, it can't be the future. It exists in reference to a lack of security perceived by the normal way of doing things.
a different type of money, but I don't know if it's like
I mean, it's
it's not
money if
more
somebody takes it. I
convenient.
guess it's barter. But yeah, it's and that's the thing. If you don't want fraud, if you don't want to do a pump and dump, they're good for like if you're not even going to cheat on your taxes, they're good for maybe if you're deluded enough, not tricking but convincing. Like genuinely, you're not morally culpable if you really, really believe, in my opinion, that this NFT is worth $1 million if someone gives you that. But you have to either trick or convince somebody to give you what people say it's worth, and then they usually give it to you in like Bitcoin, which is not liquid and it does not have a stable price. It's tough.
the blockchain I think it was a cool technology that just got used and abused by Huck and Dunk.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
pump and
even
dump
inherently,
dumpsters, so that, like, I feel like somebody way smarter than I am could come along and put that technology to really good use, but I don't know what that would look like.
I don't know, like, really? They're just saying it comes with a built-in unerasable Word document, right? Like the blockchain is just, there's a sequence of numbers that means you bought this and everyone will know. But there's a couple of things. One, you can sort of like, if somebody tells you what they've got and you look at the blockchain, you know what they have. Like, you know what I mean? Unless somebody's making a secret purchase and have never made a purchase that they publicized in any way, and you don't know then what their wallet key is. Otherwise, like it's just like one level of obfuscation, and like it's not group computing. It's contested computing. One computer still does everything in the blockchain. It's just the first one.
Well, I thought it had kind of like, because it was peer-to-peer, like majority rule kind of thing. So if your thing didn't line up with the majority of the version whatever people had, it was flagged as false or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's consensus is what they call it. The thing is, there's been several notable splits already, like in the main Bitcoin lineage, and some of which were over like Bitcoin doing something shady, and some people thinking, well, I want to make Bitcoin that didn't do that thing that I think was cheating. You know what I mean? So it's tough. Like at the end of the day, like you could use it democratically, but even then, you're talking about, unless you limit the number of shares someone's able to purchase, the people with the biggest amount of real life money have the biggest amount of democracy if you do it through shares on the blockchain.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I don't see what the point is, because like the reason these rigs are so big is just to be the fastest to finish the math problem that says they get they get to do the thing, and they use that computing power. I don't know, that you generate a couple of numbers and then you hit mix on, what's it, pit crew. I don't know.
It seems like a neat idea for an accounting standpoint, because like I often deal with companies that just have horrible intercompany communication, and I think it would solve a lot of those issues.
I mean, I can see what you mean in terms of, like, if you're able to isolate the purchase, you can say, look these numbers up. They're right there. They're when I said it was. I can see that, but you can do that now.
Hmm.
I mean, I can't argue that would be a good thing to bring in, though. Like, I mean, that is a registry, you know, for sure. And like you said, it is the registry that the concept of Bitcoin agrees happened. And so, if you have Bitcoin, you do have an accurate history of the thing called Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there have been double claims that have caused alternate coins to even come to exist.
Ooh.
Sorry, I got way deep in the woods in this. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good. I'm
It's okay.
genuinely interested. I'm just splitting my LR pretty heavy right now.
I bet. There's a lot now, you know, that the people see. It's I don't know. I always saw it as a thing that wasn't going to succeed in the long run. I was never worried about it. I don't particularly care for it. Not even the tech bro, ugly monkey, whatever. You know, just blockchain and stuff. I always thought this is something that's going to pass, and I think it probably still will. I mean, there's the last dying embers. You know, obviously there are many times in history where you think that that's not going to become a fire, and it does. You know.
Right.
I just get more annoyed of watching like history repeat itself so rapidly, because we just had this like wrap itself up with the loud people saying this is the future. Oh, get in this. Okay, now it's AI art, and then people are again like going to immediately support it and stuff, and it's showing the exact same signs of like this isn't genuine shit. This is just stuff getting marketed, and so I'm just getting annoyed by that end of it all.
And it's something that comes down to it being. I personally blame this, like many things, on just the stock market and the way it affects the economy. My thing is, I don't think we should have the stock market. I'm not like an economist that could suggest something else, but I think I feel like I can trace the line back in my personal understanding and recollection in most world problems to the fact that stocks have to rise in value.
Yeah,
And,
it's the inherent flaw of late stage capitalism.
Yeah, and well, yeah, the implication, even if the phrase late stage capitalism, is that we're at the point where what's going on is not working. And I think the actually scary thing is just that other people see that who disagree with you, you know. And I guess that everyone feels that way, you know. But like, it's not like one, for example, global warming. People who believe in it.
You mean liberal hoax?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Liberals believe in it. Conservatives don't believe in it. Conservative politicians believe in it and are already building their bunkers, you know? Like, there's that sandwich always.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what bothers me, is the idea that they're listening and they know. Like, they get the science. People who have this great amount of political or financial power, they are going to be aware of threats. You know, they heard about global warming far before we did, and they've already heard about things that we need to be concerned about that they're not telling us about.
Well,
The fact that it was like, I think it was like during the Reagan administration, it was actually like taken seriously for a bit too. It was like literally once it was getting to be too big of a problem, that's about whenever oil companies started interfering and started lobbying against it.
Yeah, much like any political thing, you see Corona and everything. They're like, "Oh, we really care," and then they realize, "Oh, we didn't realize this was going to be a thing."
Caring
we
costs
don't.
money.
But it's
Yeah,
ridiculous thinking that was a thing during the fucking Reagan era. Like,
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
Oh yeah, there's not any consistency. You are not required, you know, to believe what you believe or what you say you believe. I think in in these circles personally, and so like, yeah, Reagan.
Oh, you're absolutely dissuaded from it.
Yeah, and so they knew Ronald Reagan knew global warming was real is like I think a powerful thing in and of itself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The dude barely knew his wife's name.
No, I don't believe that.
No, exactly. Yeah. We needed to go beat the Russians, not to, but in space. He also wanted to make like a big space laser like Trump did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Where's our space
they
labor?
named it the Star War program. I'm not kidding about this. Like they were, like, hey, Star Wars, we want to make space military. Isn't that fun and cool?
I couldn't bite them.
Yeah.
Lucas is known for being pretty lax litigiously.
And well, I think the government can call their secret plans whatever they want, but
Why do they choose such boring names?
I mean, sometimes they don't. But also, in the case, like you can look at something like Operation Paperclip, which was taking a lot of the Nazi scientists and giving them positions in our aerospace. It's called Paperclip because that's an innocent sounding thing.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to chirp, but I think I figured out what's going on with the machine back here.
Okay.
I think we ended up
Looking really
in
nice.
an alternate future. Or an alternate now.
Oh no, we're an alternate now.
Oh, it's not much better.
No, I talked to that person over there, and they said, everybody has these internet boxes that they jack into, but you have to pick them up at these kiosks whenever you run out of internet.
I don't like
But
that.
I mean, the streets are paved with foot-reactive LED panels.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I was thinking they were like running warm Mountain Dew underneath the ground.
Ah,
The
that's
whole
a
where's
precious, rare resource.
Yeah.
They don't have Baja Blast in this future, though.
No. What the hell?
But Pepsi Blue never left.
Pepsi Blue?
Yeah.
Pepsi Blue.
I think it was the predecessor to Clear, or maybe after Clear. I don't know.
Oh,
Crystal.
way after Crystal. By which I
do
mean
they
like a
still-
decade after Crystal.
Oh,
Do they have Surge?
yeah.
Apparently there was some great calamity during
This-
the Surge Wars.
Oh,
So you can still find it, but it's kind of like finding Nazi gold.
Damn it.
Is it illegal
That's
to
like
drink?
now.
But is it illegal to drink in this timeline? The search.
No, it's not illegal to drink.
No.
Because it's illegal to, I don't know, use Nazi gold.
Yeah, it's true.
As long as you don't try to... It's legal to sell it, not to own or use, sir.
Hmm. This is a weird gray
Possession
area,
of
but I kind of like it.
What one can of Surge is decriminalized.
You have to do your, you have to crack open a can of Mountain Dew, Pepsi Blue to verify that you're allowed to get more internet.
I got a chip from this guy, and they're just called Blastids. And, I mean, just the garlic powder and artificial cheese flavor it's fucked up my sinuses so bad that I don't know that I can taste anything tamer ever again.
Yeah, I think this is just what food's gonna taste like from now on in our world. We're gonna have to replicate this.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I bit into like a ball of Dorito powder.
Oh, how was that?
I spit it up like a cat. It's sitting on the floor.
You weren't ready for it. Your taste buds weren't trained like these folks.
Yeah.
It's shockingly cheesy.
Yeah.
Ass-blastingly, dome-crunchingly
that's my
cheesy.
problem. This is a bag of dust balls. That's
Yeah,
I cannot believe they
Oh.
all these.
Well, they cut out the chip because it wasn't extreme enough.
That makes sense. This is
It
way too
muddled
extreme.
down the taste.
You know, that reminds me of a real product, which is like hard fried cheese pucks. Like
Yeah.
for like a chip. You know what I'm talking about? They're so
Mhm. Cheese crisps.
grody. Cheese crisps.
Yeah, it's keto though.
It's like scraping the pizza pan and eating the crusties. You know?
Caravel released, you know that kind of like crunchy chocolate coated thing inside of ice cream cakes?
Mm-hmm.
They did a limited thing where they released that as a cereal.
Wow.
Very limited. Because, you know, it was obviously just like a big bag of sugar. Advertised with breakfast marketing.
That's most cereals.
Yeah. Oh, good news for you. They still have waffle crisp in this
Oh my God.
timeline.
You know, I kind of
Oh
want to.
my god.
I kind of want to stick around here a bit longer, if that's fine with you.
We can at least stock up and
Yeah. Let's
get it for the ride back. It's going to take me some time to work on the machine. I got to find some new cartridges for this thing. And I keep having to stop because the Tamagotchi won't shut up.
We can watch over it in shifts. I think we'll probably keep
Does
it
the
alive.
Tamagotchi have to be alive for the car to work?
It's our
It's not a
Or just
gamble I'm willing
on.
to take.
Because if it's just on, we have a really clean option here.
don't.
Well, it
you
might turn
dare.
into an alien, and then I don't know where we might end up.
Oh, like the bad creature in Creatures, how it teaches swear words to your creatures
and hit some.
Hmm.
and hits them and teaches them to hit others.
Oh, it's pretty brutal game. I hope they don't have that here. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a hit series.
Oh god, Creatures 14.
Oh no, it's the new Monster Hunter. It's pretty popular, but
see, I
only
thought it was just like this timeline's Gremlins, but
I feel like there's a straight line between Creatures as the first game to this Pal World game you've all been talking about.
Oh no, you might be right.
Like it's the first game in the series that leads to. where
I didn't bring it
you-
up earlier, but something I learned about Pal World, I was just looking at some of their character designs. They are straight up rips of
they look
like
like
Pokemon
Pokemon.
designs, and
Yep.
they use a lot of apparently use a lot of AI art, or like the creators are notorious for supporting AI
I
art.
heard about that today. So that's
That's
fun.
why I've steered clear of it.
So that'd be a fun note to set out on. But
Yeah.
I
what
mean,
about those
Let,
points?
let me make it clear that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have all done much worse things than condone AI art.
Probably use it. So about the same.
How do my points work in this timeline? Are they still working? They still coming through?
Travis,
Are they redeemable here?
I don't even think they know what points are anymore.
Oh no.
What? A place with this many arcades doesn't have points?
They've transcended it.
Yeah, it's about. I mean,
They bet
if we're
they're
following the timeline, the arcades started to taper off and never came back. They never got that resurgence
and I hope this
because
is
you've
gonna-
got also
Mhm.
Neo Geo, biggest gaming enterprise on this timeline.
It's the new who's the biggest gaming I guess Nintendo.
Oh, dude, I'm way more likely to find merch for Fio from Metal Slug.
Metal
now.
Slug, yeah.
So this timeline is in South America.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of Dragon Ball around here.
Yeah, I don't know who this white-haired guy is, but he looks cool.
Like I just saw an advertisement. Aqua's doing their last farewell tour, and apparently it's their fifth farewell tour they've done.
This year?
come on.
Barbie,
Yeah.
let's go.
All right.
Well, we're
I'm
gonna
not-
stock up on weird trinkets and obscurities that we can only get over here. Hopefully we'll be back in the proper timeline before next episode.
We'll see you then, fellas.
Pentabulge.
If we get back in time, catch us tomorrow, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. over at Stabby.
Oh yeah, we're doing Baldur's Gate tomorrow. I forgot.
Well, we got to get back to a timeline where Baldur's Gate exists.
Oh no. Let's
Oh
go.
no, this just has Baldur's Gate.
It has
And you on the flip side.
Baldur's Bait. Goodbye.